Poetry has been a first in the artistic realm for so many people, and you'll notice that when watching this video. It was my first art medium dealing with severe anxiety. It feels good to be in the process of helping create an outlet for kids to share their feelings in a beautiful way. Clearly in this video, not even just for kids, but it can be used by everybody. I wish Poetry Out Loud was in my school when I was a kid. I would have ran to join that. To see as many people as we did at this event, it's honestly something that is severely needed in Glynn County. The Glynn County Arts and Culture are doing everything we can to get this as a permanent staple in the Glynn County school curriculum. With the small amount of time we had to get this going, there is clearly a call to action for artistry in our schools.
Thank you very much for coming to the first annual Poetry Out Loud in Glynn County. My name is Jose Rosales. I am the Executive Director of Glynn County Arts and Culture. Right now it's a nonprofit organization, and we're in our mentor stage. And I'll let the rest of our board members who are here introduce themselves real quick.
Hello, my name is Julia Storrs. I am the Secretary of the Glynn County Arts and Culture.
And I am Timothy Danley. I run social media for now. They haven't put me in charge of anything too interesting yet.
Yeah, well, you got this going, so we appreciate you. Thank you for that. Yeah, I don't think I could do that. And we were also buying time for others to show up. So again, I just appreciate your guys' time. It's very valuable, I know, especially on the weekend. So, thank you for your patience and showing up and supporting the kids and the community. And we hope that this grows into something bigger, where everybody's talking about it, and the kids get to go on and experience next level competition. And is more important, building that confidence with the youth in our community, where they can find a voice in themselves, right, where they belong, where they stand, and also have network and have fun at the same time. As far as Poetry Out Loud, I am learning a lot about this, and it's going real fast. As you guys already know, I'll introduce a little bit about myself. I know most of y'all know me in here, but I'm a basketball coach, and I own a business, just like them. They work too, so we all volunteer our time and try to put this together. So a lot of it's coming as I'm thinking about press defenses and stuff like that. I'm also thinking about this stuff. So again, I appreciate your patience very much. And as far as Poetry Out Loud, I'm going to let Eliza Tudor, my mentor from Nevada County, speak a little bit about what Poetry Out Loud is about, how long it's been around, and go from there. Thank you.
Thanks, Jose. Thanks, Tim, and thanks, Julia. You are the best. So I'm Eliza, Executive Director at Nevada County Arts Council. And in every county across the state, there is an arts council. And Glynn County Arts and Culture is your arts council. And it's the first time in a long time the county has had one. And it's really exciting. I actually did, after I've spoken for just a moment about what Poetry Out Loud is, I'd love to invite Monica, Supervisor Monica from the 5th Supervisorial District, to come up and just say a few words. She's had quite an afternoon today, as well as, we've given thanks to Congressman Doug LaMalfa, who passed away so suddenly recently. I know that must have been a really big deal for residents here. I'm so sorry. So how it's going to work tonight is, each year, Poetry Out Loud takes place in every county across California, and indeed every county across the nation. And this particular year is a special one in America because we're celebrating a very special 250th anniversary year nationwide. So there are many poems in the anthology that students can choose from that celebrate our great nation. So tonight, we've decided to keep it really chill. I think we have two hands up who's going to be competing in Poetry Out Loud tonight. That's so cool. Matthew, you are definitely going to be reading a poem tonight, and you too, sweetheart. Ella, you're a high school student, right? So you're going to be coming up here and doing your stuff, which is great rehearsal for next year when you're going to be doing it formally. You two can then support other students next year when Poetry Out Loud comes around again. And Hosa and Julia and Tim are going to all really depend upon you supporting those kids in your schools. And you've got some wonderful judges. So Poetry Out Loud starts off in the classrooms every year, usually in the winter semester. It starts off in the classroom and kids are asked to choose 2 poems, and they're the ones that get to select it. And they choose poems that are meaningful for them, that really speak to them so that they can make them their own. And then they memorize them. And usually there's a school competition that takes place in the early part of the year, usually in January, sometimes in December. And then there's a county championship, which is kind of what we're rehearsing today, where kids from different schools, the finalists and the winners from each school, come together and all compete. And it's really fun. All the parents show up, the guardians, the brothers and sisters, the friends, and it's packed. And I was just talking to Monica, maybe it would be fun to do it in the Board of Supervisors chambers too. That's where we do ours in Nevada County, and the supervisors just love it. It's really, and the public love it. It's just a packed, it's standing room only. And of course, the one common denominator is that we're cheering on our kids. So I know we're all here tonight for our kids, and tonight is a bit different because we're actually going to welcome those people who've signed up to just read a poem and have fun, whether it's their own poem, or to recite a poem, or to just choose a poem that's written by someone else. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, including Glenn County Arts and Culture's own Julia Storrs. But we thought we'd start, so we're going to call you folks up. Hosa will do that. But we thought we'd start by showing you a little film about Poetry Out Loud, and it's about 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long. But in order to see it, you have to move to this side of the room because it's being screened on there.
The free bird thinks of another breeze, of trade winds soft in the sighing trees.
To the victors go the plunder. You should crown them with a baseball bat.
Burst like wing seeds, let them smolder into gossamer embers.
Poetry Out Loud is a nationwide competition where students memorize a poem of their choice from the list that the National Endowment of the Arts puts out. And then they recite those or perform them. I like to think of it as performance.
And I have let the years slip from me and have not fulfilled the aspiration of my youth.
My song gave her creation, prepared her delivery, held her severed cord beautifully beaded.
There are too many schools in the United States which have no arts programs. We've had between 250,000 and 400,000 students compete across the country each year. It is one of the most important arts education events in America.
I think poetry has always been relevant. I think that poetry is really one of the oldest art forms. It's how our history started being shared before it was written down in books.
Poetry Out Loud has, for one, given me an opportunity to find a talent I didn't know I possessed, and definitely given me an opportunity to open up more to emotion.
When Persephone was taken, Demeter damned the world for half the year.
Not only does it increase the students' interest in poetry, but attendance at their local literary arts events are starting to swell up, and just bringing poetry as a form back into the consciousness of American culture, I think, is, for me, the biggest win of this program.
I feel awesome, I feel so great, I feel happy.
Shocked, apprehensive, nervous.
These are people who like really care about poetry and their craft. So work really hard, make sure to stay humble, and yeah, have fun.
So first of all, we're going to do our open mic, and then we're going to invite our 2 students to come up and recite. We thought that might be more friendly because it's nerve-wracking when you're first reciting.
I was going to say, it is nerve-wracking, and especially when you get up here and you see the 2 cameras on either side. Don't worry if you mess up at all. You've got us 2. We're the editors. It's not live. If we are here to make you guys look good because that makes us look good. So don't worry about messing up. You're going to be completely fine. So, with that started, we'll get our first person, Matthew Flaherty.
Go, Matthew. Go, Matthew. How do you want it?
I am Matthew Flaherty and I'm in 4th grade. I'm going to be reciting the poem If School Were More Like Baseball by Ken Nesbitt. If school were more like baseball, we'd only have to play. We'd hang out in the sunshine and run around all day. We wouldn't have to study, we'd practice and we'd train. And best of all, they'd cancel whenever there's rain.
Good job.
Danica Sanchez.
So my first poem is called A Prayer by Joseph S. Cotter Jr. As I lie in bed, flat on my back, there passes across my ceiling an endless panorama of things. Quick steps of gay-voiced children, adolescence in its wandering silence. Maid on man, on moonlit summer's eve, women in the holy glow of motherhood. Old men gazing silently through the twilight into the beyond. Oh God, give me the words to make my dream children come true. My second poem is called The Power of a Smile by Tupac Shakur. The power of a gun can kill, and the power of fire can burn. The power of wind can chill, and the power of minds can learn. The power of anger can rage inside until it tears you apart. But the power of a smile, especially yours, can heal a frozen heart.
Our next contestant, Corinne De Leon.
Hello. This is a 16-year-old writing by me. I'm happy to see all of you kids here because this is something that I've loved since I was very little on expressing myself. So I love this event. I love it. I'm very nervous too, Danica, so I feel This is titled Confusion. What do I want? What do I need? Stand here and wait? Pick up some speed? I've come such a long way. Will reparations finally come to pay? Do I take a step backwards or sidestep or stop? Can I make this all happen with the lessons I've been taught? Do I have selective vision? Am I stubborn with ignorance? Ever thinking my magic, every dull fade can greatly enhance? Treasured and adored? No, frustrated and bored. Or could it be me? Am I just not ready? Could it just be that it ain't what I want, truly? I'm making my head spin trying to take this all in, because in the end, like everyone else, I don't want to lose, I want to win. So I'll give the spinner another spin, let fate decide the end. Won't stop the ink from flowing to my paper from my pen. I'll count to 10, once or twice, then backwards again. Afraid to see the look of where you've been. How have you been? That's it.
Our next participant will be Jenny Rodriguez.
Hello, everyone. This is an original piece. I am celebrating the life of my late husband, Ricardo Enriquez. He passed away 2 years ago tomorrow, and I found myself again through writing. So I started writing again about 2 years ago, writing when he was in the hospital. And then I wrote this poem. It's called Fall, specifically about that journey from that moment till now. So thank you for the space to share. It was the words that saved me. It was the laughter and spontaneity. It was the markings on my body. It was the warmth of your memory. It was the love I feel when tracing your name. It was the running and playing phone games. It was the moves that I made. It was the music that I sang. It was the doorbell that I rang and becoming untamed. It was the pride, stubbornness, and shame. It was our kids pouring out of me into them. It was trying not to break, but to bleed and to bend. It was floating alone on the deep end. It was breaking the old and building the new. And yet one thing will remain true when I see the leaves, the changing colors, and the trees. I will always think of you, Ricky.
Next participant, Julius Doris.
It's going to be in video format.
Day 1, they say, is the hardest day, to unravel yourself from fear. Day 2, they say, is very much the same, but your brain starts to normalize and veer. Day 3 and 4, and so many more, you start to find and speak your words. Day 5 and 6, it starts to stick, and you finally perform your first verse. Day 7 and 8, you slow your gait, and you start to show your persistence. Day 9 and 10, you're surprised yet again, but proud of your very existence. There will always be fear, but fear will be replaced with positive intimidation. With that known fact, your dreams will have no limitation. No matter who your audience usually is, we certainly want to hear you. You won't know the power you hold until you finally do.
The Dilettante by Paul Laurence Dunbar. He scribbles some in prose and verse, and now and then he prints it. He paints a little, gathers some of nature's gold and mints it. He plays a little, sings a song, acts tragic roles or funny. He does because his love is strong, but not for money. He studies almost everything, from social art to science. A thirsty mind, a flowing spring, demand and swift compliance. He looms above the sordid crowd, at least through friendly lenses, while his mama looks pleased and proud, and kindly pays expenses. Thank you. Thank you. Dina? Rin?
I just wanted to say that I got to do poetry out loud since my sophomore year. I'm now graduated, and it was one of the best experiences of my life, probably. It's so fun. I got to go to the state final 2 of those times. which was amazing. Yeah, it's really inspiring seeing the start of that process in all these phases. So this is something I wrote, inspired by the film A Trip to the Moon, which was made in 1902. And my phone font is so small, but it's okay. Let the wizards don their evening coats and pointy hats. Let them saunter into their spaceships made of popsicle sticks and balsa wood. Their muses turn soldiers holding bayonets before swim practice, lined up in poised preparation for their 1650 freestyles. Let those very scholars be illuminated solely by fairy lights as they blast off into deep space. The moons face a distant speck within the infinite scaling triangle we call the universe. Let them land, on the moon, I mean. Let them land right there at the junction between sclera and iris, bursting the cornea, severing the optic nerve. Let them fence with fondue forks, never double dipping. As the moon cries tears of white wine mixed with melted Gruyere. Let them dress in their nightgowns, caps, and candles as they collapse against hard rock crags, constellations forming each star's face, making a different twinkling expression. Let the thin atmosphere snow, because of course it snows on the moon. And above all else, let them come home. Home to their cats, Malden brand flaky salt, tomato gardens, and 65-inch flat-screen TVs, where they can look up to the night and proudly proclaim, been there, done that.
Next, Rip.
Hi, I'm Ren. I did Poetry Out Loud in Nevada County last year as my first year, and I was the only contestant from Nevada Union, so it was pretty nerve-wracking. But like what Dino said, it's really exciting to see new people enjoying the art form and being able to compete and finding something new that they like or rekindling something they used to like, you know. This is a poem I wrote last year. Sometimes if I lay still for long enough, I can feel the earth spinning over my head. My nervousness clasps my hands out of love. I think love is the trees, the gentle caress of wind on pine. Love makes its home in the palm of my hand when linked to another. My love comes from words and the strokes of a painting I never quite finish. Love is powerful. It holds onto my heart with a grasp so tight I shudder at its squeeze. It allows me to feel stuck and it permits my dis-ease. It sits with fingers enwrapped between every wrinkle of my brain and with a rough grasp of thorns and a sweetness of nectar. Birdsong outside my window distracts me from the ache. A familiar hand warm on my own, the creek by my grandmother's house. Love is a distaste for me. It sits raw in the pit of my stomach and magnetic in the tips of my fingers. I find comfort in its repulsive nature. I'm drawn to the sting. A thorn catches my finger, a bead of blood is licked away, and soon I am drowning in burgundy. My love sits sweetly in the tip of my brush, lapping away at a canvas and bleeding through the ends. My love is pushed to the back of my throat in words I cannot speak, but still attempt to rip away from my chest in a plea of coarse nothings. My ribs ache with use, and my heart pounds fast inside the window between my inside and out. The canvas is bare, unfinished, and forgotten. It sits in the corner of my room quietly without protest. My love pools onto the floor, filling the room slowly until it reaches my lungs and I cannot breathe. It grabs a hold of my shoulder. A gentle caress brings me out of the well. I look into her eyes and I see my own blue staring back at me. It's a woman. She clasps my hands out of love and holds them tightly. I stare through her into the sky and I feel the earth start to spin. sorry, I lost my spot. Through the lasting contact, I am whole. Her hand is warm in mine. She is the painting unfinished. She is my nervousness. She is my canvas. She is the thorn, the tongue, and the bead of rose resting on my fingertip. She shares my eyes, my voice. I come to find her as myself. I come to find her as my love, and my breath returns.
Thank you. And I just thought of a joke, me being emotional. You should see me at during rom-com, movies. I'm always a sucker. I start crying and stuff. And during my banquets for the basketball team, whenever I'm talking to those girls and talking about how good they are and how much they mean to the program and to us as a coaching staff, I also get in my feels, which I don't mind. Just because I grew up watching Allen Iverson, and that guy was, he's like this tough gangster, persona guy. But that guy was always crying during all his interviews. And it just goes to show, and once you more learn about somebody, how big of a heart they have. So now we're going to get on to the contest portion for the high school students. And again, first place, not to put more pressure on you guys, but first place, $100. Second place, $75. And third place, $50. So it looks like we got 3 contestants, so everybody's going to be walking out with some cash, which is good. I'm sure you're happy for that. So our first contestant will be Isabella Flaherty. Bella.
My name is Isabella Fleet-Hardy, and I will be reciting the poem To Helen by Edgar Allan Poe. Helen, thy beauty is to me like those Nicene barks of yore that gently o'er a perfumed sea the weary, wayworn wanderer bore to his native shore. On desperate seas long wont to roam, thy hyacinth hair, thy classic face, thy naiad airs have brought me home to the glory that was Greece and the grandeur that was Rome. Lo, in yon brilliant window niche, how statue-like I see thee stand, the agate lamp within thy hand. Ah, Psyche, from the regions which are Holy Land.
Good job.
Thank you, Bella. Great job. Next contestant, Paisley Schumann.
I'm Paisley, and I will be announcing I am a leaf. The silence is broken into the nature. My soul sails out, carrying the song of life onto his brow. To meet the flowers and birds, when my heart returns to the solitude, she is very sad, looking back on the dead passions, lying on love's ruins. I am like a leaf, hanging over hope and despair, which trembles to joins the world's imagination and ghost. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paisley. And our next contestant, Dayla Rosales.
Hello. I'll be reciting Life by Edith Wharton. Life, like a marble block, is given to all, a blank and chaotic mass over the years and days, once one with ardent chisel-swift essays, some shape of strength or symmetry to call. One shatters it in bits to mend a wall, one in a craftier hand the chisel lays, and one to wake the mirth in Lesbia's gaze. carves it a space in toys fantastical, but at least he who, with enchanted eyes, filled with high visions and fair shapes to be. Muses which God he shall immortalize in the proud parent's perpetuity, till twilight warns him from the punctual skies. That night cometh wherein none shall see.
I have some poems that I wrote. I'm wondering, I have one that always makes me cry, and I'm going to show you that I can be man enough probably to cry in front of you next time. So I'll give you a little background. This is something that I wrote during the pandemic, and I was hearing stories about these medical service providers who were working 8 hours a week. They were coming down with COVID. Some were getting sick and never came home. And, you know, the thought of, you know, somebody going out to save the world and maybe never seeing their kids again. So I had this process where I'd go out to my garden and I'd start working in the mornings and the poems would just come in. And this is one of those that kind of wrote itself. But in the back of my mind was this, people going out to help and never coming home. So it's called If I'm Not Back by Supper Time. Did I give you my name? I'm Scott Corcoran, by the way. I live here in Orland. I love poetry. I love what you guys are doing. So, if I'm not back by supper time, if I'm not back by supper time, you'll know something went wrong. Maybe worse. I think I've loved you for 1,000 years, and I know I'll love you for 1,000 more. The kids are getting so big. I guess I'll always think of them as babies in our arms, like innocent little thieves who come to steal our hearts. Now they're standing on their own 2 feet in so many ways, and I'm so proud. Please, if I don't come back, look after them for both of us. I always try to remember to celebrate their filthy little faces, their hard heads, but you were always so much better at seeing the good in people. Remember the sweet melody of their little giggles floating down the hallway, lights out, tucked in their beds, when our little nuggets were supposed to be sleeping. I could never be mad. I swear we were hearing the music of their actual little pearly souls, every giggle, a soul kiss on our own. I love them so, and I love you. So if I'm not back by supper time, please never forget our babies need you to carry on without me. Try not to dwell on the empty place at the dinner table where I always used to sit. Rather, celebrate the memories of how we filled each other's hearts. Slow dances in the kitchen after dark. Sunset walks on the west side that took our very breath away. And remember the rainstorms, walking in that little town when we were young and just flirting. The spectacle, the sounds and the smells of the high mountain New Mexican thunderstorms. Or that stormy summer in Georgia when God's hands delivered us unscathed from that 100-car pileup out on the interstate. Blessings. Damn. I love you so. How about that night our baby was so sick and the poor thing, she just couldn't have peace enough to drift off to sleep. We were broken to see our little angel suffer so, and yet our hearts were swelling with her every labored breath. She cried and whimpered all night long. We were all dead tired. But I never, ever felt a homecoming in all my life like I did that night when we held her precious little soul in our arms. Oh, the tomato sauce faces, skin knees, and the big, big dreams. Laughter, excitement. These have filled our hearts, and this is where we have lived. So if I'm not back by supper time, keep the fires burning. Think of the best things about me, and love, love, love on our little ones like your very lives depend on it. because, my dearest, they do.
Oh, I think we have one more.
We got one more?
Yeah.
Awesome, Danica. We got one more, thank you.
Hello, I am back again. So the poem that I will be announcing is called "In the Event of My Demise," also by Tupac. In the event of my demise, when my heart can't beat no more, I hope I die for a principle or a belief that I have lived, for I will die before my time. Because I feel the shadow's depth, so much I have wanted to accomplish. Before I reach my death, I have come to grips with the possibility and wiped the last tears from my eyes. I loved all who were positive in the event of my demise.
Great job, Danica. And you know, I just like how she has it memorized, so she's right. She's got some experience with that poem, but you can see like she was looking up and reading it, which was I just noticed that, and that was awesome. We do have some pizza. I didn't mean to be rude. I didn't catch your name, sir.
Scott.
Scott. Sorry, I was getting the pizza, so I was like, oh no, this looks really rude right now.
I was offended.
Do we have everyone's attention? All right. Third place, we have Dana Rosales. I'm gonna need that, Joe. Thank you. Second place, Paisley Schumann. Congratulations. Easier to go ahead and show them the second. Come on, go over here. Come on.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. And so, yeah, drum roll. First place, Isabella Fleardy. Congratulations, and let's give her a little bit more. Get the middle here.
Oh,
there you go.
All right.
Okay. One from us.
One from Mama.
You know better than that, Bella. You're not getting out.
Some last words from Eliza.
No, don't try to take it. Very good. I hope you won't mind the two kids that I brought from Nevada County who are special guests today. They would love to offer a few words of encouragement to your kids here in Glenn County. So come on up and say that. I just want to thank our judges tonight too. Monica, thank you so much. And Kayla, how about after Ren and Dino have said their words of encouragement to our kids tonight, how about we all get a photo together? What do you reckon? We can sort of gather around. That would be really lovely. Because when we apply for Glenn County Arts and Culture to become a formal arts council, which will happen in the summer, it'd be lovely to show them the photo and the support of the community. So sweet. So come on up and say your bit.
Poetry out loud is something that absolutely should be pursued in every school. It taught me a lot of social skills. Just being able to stand up in front of people is really hard and scary. And I think it developed that in us. And I think having your family here to support you, like the families, continue to support your kids. Make sure they keep going with this. You can get $100.
It's definitely a plus.
The money is,
but
and even not the money.
yeah, poetry is just like such a beautiful and like vulnerable art form. And like even if you're not competing, like pursue, because it genuinely just gives you like another reason to enjoy living and to like process things. And like what Dina was saying, like to the family and stuff, like I understand that it can be a little odd to like see your kids go up and like share something that you might not have known about them. But it's so important to give them that outlet and to give them the support, even though it's uncomfortable, or maybe even not uncomfortable. You could be so proud of them, and you probably are so proud of them because they're working hard, and that's important. And learning to work hard while also expressing yourself and putting it to an outlet that reaches everyone. Like, that's how I met Dino, that's how I met Eliza. Like, it gives you more space. So.
Tell your friends. I mean, if I could do it all over again, I would. It was so fun. So make sure if you know someone who might be interested, if you know someone who isn't interested,
Make them. Nobody knows that this is such a comfortable thing until you start doing it, and then you're like, dang, I like this so much, you know? So make them do it, and make yourself do it too. Just make it happen. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you very much, Dino and Ren. And I got to speak with them last Sunday, and I was very just impressed. And I was telling my basketball team about you guys, just the confidence and the way you guys, spoke. Again, with strangers, right? There was several of us in here. You guys didn't know us, but I just like that, right? And dealing with my basketball team, sometimes I feel like I don't get that, and they're like the same age. So as you said, I even knew my daughter here, right? When she first came in, I made her sign up. And she had a little attitude, and now I'm here, she's all laughing, having a good old time. So it definitely changed. I could see as a father that definitely changed her mood. And again, I almost got out of here without saying thank you to our judges. Thank you to Tim and Julia for setting up all the cameras, getting all the good content. Thank you, Jody, Kyla, and and Monica. Appreciate it very much.
Maybe Glen County Arts and Culture needs to do more open mics throughout the year, like maybe once a month. You can all just gather anywhere and just like have an open mic. Let's open it.
Yep, we've already been discussing these ideas, and so look forward to it coming, to a town near you. Maybe we can go Willows, Orland. If Hamilton has a space, that way. Elk Creek. I know they have a good burger joint out there. Maybe they'll let us come out there. And as we expand this, right, try to make it all our communities here in Glenn County. Thank you very much.
Three. I'm gonna do it more. Make it.